simply viewing houses as an asset to begin with. Exactly. This is the issue. And Trump is not going to do that. He's just going to keep cutting taxes further, which is going to contribute to this problem even further. That is the issue here. Building.
Investor in this country.
Well, I think you're going to.
Yeah, I don't know why he brought up Ben Carson when he saw a black guy. Well, I do know why he brought it up. He's like, black guy, you all know each other. Ben Carson loves you.
See some very good days ahead. A lot of incentives are going to be given. You saw yesterday a $1 billion investment, and we give you very fast approvals. Nobody's come up with that one yet, although it seems pretty simple. I think you're going to have some great days ahead. We have to conclude a couple of bad wars that are going on. A lot of bad things are going on, but we'll get them done.
Do you think that we are in a situation where business will be far more embraced under you than currently?
Well, I don't want to really knock current, but I will tell you more than at any time.
I know Ben Carson was the HUD secretary. I don't think Ben Carson remembers that or knows that.
Time anywhere in the history of our country.
Now, we used to speak together about the idea that the averages mattered and were a good barometer of your performance. Is that still the case? Can we go beyond Dow Jones, maybe to NASDAQ?
Well, I think I've always said, to me, stock market is all of it, all of it together. It's very important. It's an honor to be here at New York Stock Exchange. I sort of joked that I actually bought the building across the street because the stock exchange was here. It's a big deal.
40, it's a nice building.
40 Wall Street. So, look, we're going to do things, I think, that haven't been really done before. We're going to be cutting taxes still further. We got it down to 21%. We're going to bring it down even.
Oh, great. We really need that. That's great. Fantastic. We're going to cut taxes even further, he says. Nice.
Even below that, you pay 21 if you don't build here, and meaning your product or whatever it is you're building. And if
I am in support of cutting taxes, even though I'm a Democrat. Why? Do you make millions of dollars a year? Are you a corporation? I own stocks too. Oh my God. Bro, we're never getting anything good. I'm going to be honest with you. We're never getting anything good. Okay. Individual taxes also went down. Standard deduction was doubled. Brother, you are the reason why Republicans get to do whatever they want. Your taxes went down, let's say $1,000. Okay. Your taxes at the end of the year went down $1,000. Do you know how much the taxes of the actually wealthy people went down? Do you understand? Do you know that those tax cuts are slated to sunset this upcoming year? Unless you're in the top marginal tax rate, unless you're at the tippy top, your taxes are supposed to come back up. I understand that, but my life improved. I don't wish ill on other people. Oh my God. No, it didn't. Okay. You saved $1,000 and you thought, oh my God, how fantastic. It's great. Okay. The problem is in that process, you got literally pennies on the dollar for how much the Omega wealthy. It's not $1,000 though, way more. How much money do you make? If you don't mind me asking. Once you combine stocks and income, oh my God. 90% of the stock market is owned by the top 10% of wealth. Oh, okay. You currently make $450,000 a year. Yeah, no shit, dude. Yeah, of course. Of course you'd be like, of course. Yeah, you're rich as f. Of course you would be like, yeah, I want tax cuts. The classic rich guy brain. Never mind. I don't even know. Oh my God. Yeah. Of course your taxes went down, chatter. What the f are you talking about? You are not the average person. Your current net worth is $450,000. It means you're in the top. You're not at you're not the 1%, but you're close to it. Also, broke boy, where the f is your sub? What do you mean? You have 450K is your net worth, but you're not even peppering the goddamn community with some gifted subs? Pay up. If your yearly income or your net worth overall or your yearly income is $450,000, yes, of course, you're rich as fuck. My job is to try and convince you as someone who makes a lot more than you do that it is actually wiser to ensure that we, people like ourselves, okay, and people a lot wealthier than both of us combined, times a million, pay a lot more in taxes, okay? Because if we pay more in taxes, especially those who have parked all of their assets in the stock market, if we give back more to the government, okay, ultimately, the goal is the government can spend more on social safety nets, on fixing the infrastructure, and ultimately, society will be better overall. I'm afraid that if they increase my taxes, I might never own. Okay. Oh my God. This has got to be bait, man. I can't. I don't understand what you're budgeting on. If you're making $450K a year and you can't purchase a home when the home prices are $2 to $3 million, like, just get an apartment, dog. I think. I don't know. It's tied up in Hawk Tua coin. Look up costs in Silicon Valley. Bitch, I live in Los Angeles. You think I don't know how fucking inflated the housing market is? That's so funny. Hasan would know, he lives in LA. Exactly. Yeah, no, I trust me, I know. I live in a inflated, a price inflated home. I bought it with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I know. And as someone who is incredibly fortunate, I hate this kind of nonsense. I hate this. We need to do more tax cuts nonsense. He's missing the point here. All he's arguing is that housing should be better now that tax cuts are good. Yeah. The problem is, here's the contradiction, okay? You have a lot of assets in the stock market. You make $450,000 a year. You feel, understandably, like you're a part of this. And in some ways you are. You are in the top 10% of wealth. So you, of course, have a lot of motion in the stock market. So when the stock market is doing well, your net worth goes up. Okay. The problem is, in order for society, in order for Americans across the board to have a better outcome overall, we need to break this a little bit. The system that has been quite fortuitous for someone like yourself and even someone like myself. I'll give you one example. You're frustrated by the home prices, $2 to $3 million. The homes are $2 to $3 million over here. When in reality, part of the problem, at least in the Bay Area, is that there are a lot of homes that people are just sitting on. And also, I guess the Bay Area is one of the only places where, like, I would say zoning deregulation is a necessity. But the reality of the matter is people are just simply not building houses. There is no mechanism. There's a shit ton of Airbnbs. People are not building houses. There is no mechanism to bring the housing prices down so that someone like yourself and many others can purchase homes. Or someone like yourself or many others who work in the companies that you either have a vested interest in and stocks in can actually continue to hire people. It brings everything's, it is very consequential. It's very important. It brings the price of everything up. If home ownership is impossible and rent is unsustainable, then you have to increase the wages as well. But when you increase the wages, so much of that still goes back directly into the pockets of landlords. Our entire system is designed to constantly eke out profit. And because of that, nobody wants to turn around and actually do things that are deflationary in nature. Blow up any of these bubbles, if you will. NIMBY zoning, boomer Airbnb, private equity, simply viewing houses as an asset to begin with. Exactly. This is the issue. And Trump is not going to do that. He's just going to keep cutting taxes further, which is going to contribute to this problem even further. That is the issue here. The contradiction is dumbasses are always fear-mongering about inflation, but when they bitch about taxation, which reduces the money supply, thereby reducing inflation as well, but only see inflation as being a problem when poor people get checks and not when rich-ass people get tax breaks. Exactly. Tax cuts are inflationary. It is the only fiscal policy that is allowed in the American Congress. And it's inflationary. And the only deflationary mechanism can come not from Congress, because God forbid you increase taxes and reduce the money supply that way. The only deflationary mechanism could come in the form of monetary policy. If you're thinking sector by sector, one of the immediate deflationary policies that you can engage with would be to readjust the housing market by making the government compete against the pre-existing inventory of houses by building public housing. Build socialized housing immediately, instantly. God forbid, though, we do that, because that would mean that people who currently own homes, that use their homes as an asset, as their nest egg, as their retirement fund, as an asset to leverage against, those people would hate that. because the house prices would go down, and therefore they'd be sitting on these fucking insanely inflated mortgages at that in that frame. All of a sudden, their collateral has gone away, and they're paying these incredibly expensive mortgages for an asset that no longer has that same value. The system has to fundamentally change. We do not treat housing as an asset when it comes down to protecting people's home values. Even though if it was simply seen as an asset, then yeah, sometimes you're going to fucking make a gamble and you're going to lose on that gamble. That's the issue. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a world where you're like, well, I invested in this company and it went under. What the fuck? The government needs to protect this company now. It's ridiculous. Okay, you made a fucking unwise investment then. You know? That's just not true. Look up how much goes in taxes, how much down payment you needed for a $3 million home, and how much the monthly payment at 6% rates after the 20% down payment, how much you need dependents, and so on and so forth. Wait, what? Oh, you're not responding to me. You're responding to someone else. Yeah. What happened to risk? Everybody wants to have it both ways. Everybody wants to act like housing is shelter when it comes to demanding that the government protect this asset, but everybody also treats it doubly as an asset, as a risky investment. It makes no dang sense. If it's an asset, doors open. If it's an investment, sometimes you're going to lose money on that investment. You know, you took the risk. If it's simply shelter, then you don't care. You're going to sit on it anyway. You have a fucking house. That's it. This man making $450K a year still has not peppered the chat to win over their favor by showering all of you with gifted subs, by the way. I am noticing that gifted subs have not come in from broke boy over here. Some of the smooth brain trust fund chatters probably think they'd lose money if their taxes went up to pay for universal health care, even though it'd be cheaper than their insurance costs. Baja blast my brains out. Thank you for the 25. Bill Vogt, thank you for the 5 gifted. Anyway.
If you do, we're going to try getting it down to 15%, but you have to build your product, make your product in the USA.
And how about every working person who's watching would love to be able to see dividend tax maybe much lower, capital gains much lower.
Well, we're going to be...
Yeah, let's lower capital gains taxes even much lower. Fuck it, dude. No taxes. Why do we even have taxes to begin with? Fuck it. YOLO. Alamans, thank you for the 5 gifted. The Ether Paradox, thank you for the 5 gifted. To Code Fred, thank you for the 20 gifted. Castle Commander, thank you for the 5 gifted.
We're talking about that, and we're really talking about lowering taxes. Last time, as you know, we took it probably from close to 44, 45% down to 21. Everyone said that was impossible. Now, it was always my, I really wanted to get it down to 15, and we'll be able to do that. And if you remember, we had the best 3 years in the history of our country from the standpoint of the economy. And you've been so professional and so good. I haven't seen you so much since I've been a politician.
Well, thank you,
Castle
sir.
Commander.
We were together, and I was grateful to be a judge
5
in The Apprentice. We had a great time.
That's right. You were a judge.
Begging Strips, thank you for the 5. Hitbox, thank you for the 5. Sure Jolly, thank you for the 5.
Oh, we had to eliminate some people who didn't cut the mustard. You made me a hatchet, man. I respect that.
Yeah, well, we're going to be doing the same thing, I can tell you. This, unfortunately, there's too many of them. But I think we're going to really incentivize the country to go back and work, and they will be incentivized. They're going to do well. People are going to be very happy. JD is very much involved, and I have a great partner right over here with our First Lady. People love our First Lady, and we're going to do something very special. We have some great people up there. You saw some of the people on the cabinet. And we have some of the most successful people in the country, and we're dealing with the most successful people, and those are the people that put others to work.
Idle Room.
And we're going to be
Golden
hitting
Locks,
job
Lavender
numbers.
Locks.
And as you probably heard me say,
JX
we picked up since just the election.
Stop giving a shite. Thank you for the 5 gifted.
You call it worth or value, but $3 trillion was picked up since November 5th, so that's pretty good.
Dude, having combos like that, it just reminds me of how little things will change. Like, it truly, like, how the fuck, brother, you make $450,000 a year and you still want tax cuts? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And you complain that you can't buy a house, not realizing that the reasons why you can't buy a house is partially because of the hyper individualistic nature of Americans who think, well, what the fuck? House prices are going to go down? Are you kidding me? That's like my net worth. That my entire net worth is associated with it. I've taken mortgages out against this. It's my leverage. You're like, oh no, the stock market might go down. If the stock market goes down, then my net worth goes down. Then I definitely can't buy a house. Okay. Oof. Not recognizing that when there's more readily available funds for people in your fucking price point that are, you know, purchasing these $2 to $3 million houses, if nothing is done about the supply and the demand is automatically increased because of the tax cuts, well, what do you think is going to happen to the fucking housing market then? You know? Yeah, you get tax cuts, you have more take-home pay, okay? Stock market is supercharged. Now you got more money. Now, you know who else has more money? All the other people that are one bracket above you. They have more money, even more money than you. Now they're going to buy their fucking third house. But hey, don't worry. You'll be able to rent it from that guy who's one income bracket above you, you know? Meanwhile, the conversation is so silly because there's hella people. There are the overwhelming majority of Americans, like 97% of Americans are nowhere near that level of wealth. And they're fucking starving and suffering. And some of those motherfuckers voted for this dipshit who's like, yep, we're going to do tax cuts.
President Reagan was here. He talked about putting the bear into hibernation, letting the bull
Chuck dies. Thank you for the 50 gift.
Sound like a good motto?
Sounds perfect. I can't do any better than that. That's what we're going to do.
All right. Now, I know we've got some other people here, but I don't see Elon Musk. I was hoping because he's been a good, let's say a good aid to you on a lot of different things, whether it be crypto or whether it be GLP-1 drugs. I mean, there's a lot of different ideas.
Well, he's got a lot of ideas. He's a great guy. He's a really good guy, too. And I guess his stock has done pretty well. Everybody's stock has done well since the election and even before. And Scott Bessent's done a fantastic job. And one of the things I liked about Scott is that he said long before I even know who he was that the market's only doing well. This is before the election. It's only doing well because they think Trump is going to win. So we made Scott the Treasury Secretary, which everybody frankly wanted. And he's going to do a fantastic job.
Meantime, how about a crypto? Really, we do need, I think, you're embracing crypto, very different from the previous administration. Strategic Petroleum Reserve like for crypto?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to.
The other part of that argument, going back to that one chatter, the other part of that argument is like, listen. If people lose their house value, okay, if the housing market, if the average home price goes down and a lot of the homeowners lose, okay, a shit ton of the value, but in the process, more people actually have an opportunity to purchase homes, or rent prices go down as well as a consequence of more readily available inventory. This is overall good for every American. Just like if this is overall good for America in general, when there's more safety and more security for our fellow Americans, they live happier lives. They're more productive laborers. We become more competitive in the global marketplace. Like, this is the problem. It comes from it basically creates stability and it makes America a better country. But because we're so hyper focused on our own pockets that we just never even close our eyes and dream of a better future for all Americans and how that might be beneficial for us in the long run. Okay, this Northern
There's
Line.
some times where I can like laugh about the state of the world, but then like still once every 2 days, I remember with like a wave of dread that the American government is about to be beholden to the Department of Governmental Efficiency headed by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, which they specifically named Doge after the dog meme. And in my head, I kind of go, after like a minute, I kind of like forget about it and I get over it and I can like live my life again.
Boo, America KKK should be the worst fourth world country. Yeah, dude. My goal is not to change the unequal exchange dynamic that America has enforced upon the global South, but instead to punish the poorest of the labor aristocracy. Okay? This is how we will win. It's not permanent first world genocide. It's actually permanent first world genocide just for the American poor. It's great. Yeah, we must liberate the world by punishing the American working poor, okay? All the while, the American wealthy that are the most successful parasitic force on the planet. Yeah, people be like, my issue is with the American people, not with its governance. I want to punish the large majorities of the American poor. Fuck the American bourgeois.
To do something great with crypto because we don't want China or anybody else, and not just China, but others are embracing it, and we want to be the head. We're going to be ahead of AI. We're going to be way ahead of AI, and we've got to produce tremendous amounts of electricity. You know that it's unbelievable when you think that we need more than twice what we already have. If you think that's pretty for a specific industry, but we'll be able to do.
Bay Area engineer here, not disagree with you on the tax situation, but I don't think the really rich people here are stacking $2 to $3 million homes here. Yeah, it's not actually the really rich people stacking it. It's fucking private equity and renting it out to people like 450K guys or me. They're buying $10 million plus homes. The bourgeoisie, the labor aristocracy must suffer for its crimes. He's got to be happy that Google is building the nuclear to keep the AI server farms running. Yeah.
Do it. We have Lee Zeldin in charge of the environment. He's going to be giving us very strong approvals, I think, and he's going to make sure everything's good.
How big of a tax cut you getting because of Trump? Be honest, dude. I have no fucking idea. I don't know, and I also don't care.
Clean and proper, but he's going to give us very fast approvals.
Natural gas makes it so that we should be able to afford it and be able to handle the 5% per year grid. Right. But obviously you think that we need to be able to be the king of AI, which means that we also have to, some people would say, protect Taiwan, because right. China would like very much to be able to have that technology.
Well, we're going to be having a lot of talks with China. We have a good relationship with China. I have a surprising relationship. Now, when the COVID came in, I sort of cut it off. That was a step too far. That was, as they say, a bridge too far. But we've been talking and discussing with President Xi some things and other world leaders. And I think we're going to do very well all around. And we've been abused as a country. We've been badly abused from an economic standpoint, I think, and even militarily. You know, we put up all the money, they put up nothing, and then they abuse us. So
Coastal blue state professionals never got a tax cut. Trump raised taxes on 200 to 500K earners and eliminated SALT deduction. That chatters was dumb as fuck. I mean, he seems to think that he earned it. He seems to think that he got more take-home pay.
On the economy, and we just can't let that happen. We're not going to be abused anymore. We put America first, but we're also going to help other countries.
Well, I know you've got a ton of things to do, but what can you say to the working person who owns stocks? Should they buy more stock?
Well, I don't want to get into a situation where they do and we have a dip or something, because that can always happen. You know that better than anybody in the world. Probably.
Yeah, when you advocate for certain stocks and then they crash dramatically. I know you. I know your ways, Kramer. I'm long on inverse Kramer.
I think you're the leading authority in going up and going down, but you always ends up. That's the good news. But we have like Doug Burgum standing
Puebla
right over here, has done a fantastic job. He's been on your show many times, and we have just tremendous people. I would say this. I think long term, this is going to be a country like no other. We had the 3 best years ever until COVID came in, and then we did a good job getting rid of it. The stock market, if you look at the markets, were higher than just previous to COVID coming in when we handed it over. And now we know. I know the people. I know the players. When I came in, it was very interesting, Jim. I came in, and I was not a Washington guy. I didn't know too many people in Washington. I had to rely. Now, who do I know people? I know people. I know people so much, they're coming out of my ears. So we have great people.
Mark Zuckerberg?
Well, Mark Zuckerberg's been over to see me, and I can tell you Elon is another, and Jeff Bezos is coming up next week. And I want to get ideas from them. Look, we want them to do well. We want everybody, and we want great jobs, fantastic salaries. We want people to love, and, you know, when they wake up.
It's so wild that like none of this shit actually helps the working poor. None of this shit will actually help the working class, but it won't even fucking matter for the most part, because the scraps that he's offering them is culture war narratives that he will fight and win, specifically because the culture war shit is already made up as a distraction to begin with. Meanwhile, the wealthy will keep robbing you fucking blind. Great stuff overall. And it's not like the Democrats will put a fucking stop to any of that anyway. You know, it's great. Fantastic. The gap between the rich and the poor will grow in ever more concerning ways. We're already at the Gilded Age. Not a single person looks at this and goes, maybe it's not the best idea to have some fucking South African freak have this much power. The wealthiest person on the planet have this much power over the American government. Nope. That guy's got my best interest in mind, baby. He's got my back. I believe it. Bro, you can glaze Trump all you want, but he doesn't know you, little bro. He won't fuck you. The 200 to 500K bracket went from 33 to 35%, and on 450K, you're paying 45K in CA taxes. You no longer got a federal deduction for that, so there's another 15K in taxes. When is enough money enough for these people that they can't spend time helping working class? There's never. That's not a real concept. There's no such thing. It's never enough. In 2018, Jeff Bezos became the first centibillionaire. Now Elon's net worth is 360 billion. It's crazy to think about this. Yeah. Don't worry. All of that will go away when the global market collapses. Okay? Because all those guys and their net worth is entirely tied to the stock market. So when that goes pee-pee poof, you know, Trump is the base MAGA communist. Okay? Trump is the base MAGA communist, JD Pon, permanent first world genocide heir. Okay? He's going to claw back the stock market from speculators' hands one way or another by collapsing the American economy.